Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, as you know, I just recently did that video on the lithium battery. So this thing is just going to be running that battery through its paces. I don't know how to technically check batteries and how they perform and all that kind of stuff. I'm basically going to chuck the battery in there and run it and just see what happens over time. So if, I know there was some, one person asked, did the motorbike start with the battery? And I thought, that's a fair bloody question. That's something I most probably should have done in that last video, was put the battery in and start it up for you to see. So in this video, that's what I'm going to do. And do some other little tests and stuff. So that is the lithium battery, as you would have seen. Now it says, now I've jumped on that website and I had a bit more of a read through it and read through that pamphlet properly, and there's a few little things, and because people are saying about the cold weather and all that kind of stuff, and I know with America, here in Australia it's not a problem, we just don't get that bloody cold, but in America you have places where you do get severe bloody winters. So this battery most probably is no good. I don't even know what a lead battery, how far it can operate or whatever. But another question was what type of lithium battery it was. I don't know, I thought it was just a lithium battery. But it is a lithium ion polymer battery. I just hopefully get that. So that's the type of lithium battery that it is. And apparently it's one of the only lithium batteries that can be charged with your standard battery charger, so 12 volt battery charger, and also obviously your alternator in the vehicle, whether it's a bike, car, jet ski, whatever the hell it is. That's what they say. I don't know anything other than that. So for me, that's given me all the right things. Oh, and the other thing was that it'll operate, where was it? Somewhere. Oh, it said somewhere, it won't be affected until below -5 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is. I might put that up there for the American guys. So if you don't go below -5 Celsius, the battery should be sweet. There was one thing on there, obviously, that has a whole heap of things. Don't submerge the battery in water and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of like went, oh shit, hang on, what do you mean? What if I'm doing a river crossing and I drop the bike? That's going to submerge it. But all those cautions that they have, I actually bought a bloody Sony action cam. I've had enough of that bloody drift camera, that newest one. All the previous drift cameras that I've had have been fantastic, but that bloody new one, I just can't bloody work with it. So I've actually jumped and I've gone and got a Sony camera, which I might do a review on a bit later on. I haven't had that much time with it. But I was reading through all the warnings, and it was crazy. And when I do that video, I'll read through some of the bloody stuff that it had. It's just like nuts. Alright, so what was I going to say? What I was going to say is, it does say that you can't use a battery minder or a battery tender. So here in Australia, normally we don't have to put our bikes or batteries on a tender system unless your battery's a bit dodgy or whatever. We don't normally hibernate our bikes because pretty much we can ride it all year round. Certain times it's time to go, oh, she's a bit bloody cold out there. But it says that you can't do that. The lithium battery doesn't like to be have a battery tender on it for an extended period of time. So that would be no good if you did that when you were hibernating your bike. And when you charge it, it can take only 6 minutes to charge it to full, apparently, or to 90%. Alright, that's enough bullshit. So I've pulled off the seat and all the bits and pieces. That battery is now ready to come out. I'm going to pull that battery out. We'll go over there and we're going to test with my multimeter what the voltage reading is on that battery, and then what the what the voltage is on this battery. Then I'm going to whack that in, start the bike up. The bike hasn't been started for most probably a couple of weeks now. I know, that's fucking Jesus Christ. and it was a low of 6 overnight. I think it's currently, actually, my little thing here is saying it's 20 degrees here in the man cave. The man cave, some people thought it was more like a room, but it's not. It's only got the 2 walls and a roof, and then all that's open. So if it's cold out there, it's cold in here, basically. All right, over there, and we'll start this. All right, guys. So I've got the 2 batteries. This is the battery that I've replaced the old one after stuffing it up. I've got Nay here. She's going to help with, so you can see the numbers. I'm just going to put this on and then on there, and hopefully that should read. So we've got 12.7 volts. Now on the lithium battery we have 13.1. Excellent. Alright guys, so now I just got to whack that in the bike and then run the bike and lights and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure it's working or whatever. The original little screws that you normally use for your terminals doesn't fit, but obviously the battery comes with its own little doodad. I like using those words, doodads. One other thing I didn't mention was that it says that if you take this out of the bike, so say if you're hibernating it, but then I suppose you're not going to bloody use this because it most probably won't work. But anyway, just you can sit that on the shelf, and it should sit there fully charged for 12 months without a problem. So that's one option. You wouldn't have to just stick it on a bike tender. All right, we'll whack this in now. Actually, I just noticed that this may be a problem. Can you see I've put the little nut thing in there, and then I've got that's going to go in there, and that only just touches it to be able to screw it in. Once I put my other little terminal things that I've got on there, I'm not going to be able to touch that. So I'm going to have to stuff around, but that's part of doing shit like this, I suppose. Not everything's bloody easy. So that's one little downfall, but hey, nothing to cry about. Alright guys, so the battery is in there. It was an absolute pain in the ass. I don't think I would have been able to do it bloody by myself. Not with at least bloody trying to short the stupid thing out with screwdrivers and stuff. But when you've got a good woman like Nay, when she comes out and helps you, you can't go bloody wrong. I'll just show you the battery sitting in there, then we'll start it up. So there it is. Didn't have to do anything. It just slotted straight in there, and then a bit of stuffing around with those stupid screw things. But there you go. All right, let's start her up. So remember, this hasn't been started for a couple of weeks, and when Max doesn't get started for a little while, he takes a bit to get started. So this is going to be a really good test for that battery. It's going to take a bit to crank it. But Max, if it, a couple of days or whatever, it just starts the first pop. And I've put them onto reserve because when I did all that testing with the tank, I emptied it all out, but I've actually put a little bit in there just so that nothing dries out. I think it's better that you have petrol sitting in there. Alright, turn her on. Oh shit, I scared myself, I turned it off. Turn it on. There we go, we've got all the lights. Put some choke on. Clutch in and let's go. Ah, that's alright. Well, it's cranking it over. Actually, I think that's a little bit better. I don't know. Come on. Well, we're certainly giving it a good bloody test. Oh, bloody hell. Well, there you go, guys. So that's cranked it over and it took quite a bit. as I said, he doesn't like to be not used for a bit. Alright guys, so that says the bloody thing works. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll bring you around here and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is turn the ignition on. I'll also, so that'll have that light running and I'll have these two lights running. I'm going to just do it for 5 minutes. I won't run it the video. So I'm going to turn that on. I've got my little stopwatch, so press start on that. Hopefully you can see that's bloody running. So that light's on, so that's an incandescent light. These are LEDs and they're 10 watt each. So switch them on. Hey presto, they should be on. Beautiful. I'm just going to let that run for 5 minutes, turn it off, and then I'm going to check that battery. Before I started it, I checked the battery while it was sitting in the bike with the multimeter, and it read the 13.1 volts. So I'll just shut all that off and then just check what the voltage is, and then we'll try and start it again and see where we go. And that's pretty much it, guys. Alright, see you in 5 minutes. Alright, so it's now been over 5 minutes. Let's see that. Cool bananas. So those two lights, the front light and the rear light. Oh, that's bloody warm. Ha. So we'll shut all that off. Now we'll test that battery. Alright guys, so I was trying to bloody test this battery and I couldn't get it to read. So Nay said, give me a bloody shot at it. Anyway, she's got it, so we're going, don't move. So that there is what it's reading, 12.7. So it's dropped down obviously. So now what we're going to do is try and start it. You can let go now.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. We were stuffing around, I just couldn't get it to read bloody properly. But anyway, there you go. Alright, let's try and start her up again. Alright guys, let's go. Start this up. Beautiful. Alright guys, well there you go, that's it. That's as much testing as I can think to do. So far it's working like a normal bloody battery. So now it'll be just, you know, over time, at some stage I'll just do a little review saying, yeah, it's working okay or it's not working okay or whatever. There you go. Now there's a reason why I'm sitting here, and you might see there is a nice shiny new, what do you call it? Tool chest. Never in my life, in my 46 years of life, have I had a tool chest. And just the other day they had them on special out at the hardware store, and I went, bugger it, I'm getting myself a tool chest. So I'm pretty bloody happy. I've already sticking it up. There you go. Thought I'd share that one with you. Alright guys, keep on riding.